Okie dokie. As I am speaking, currently and off-center from the camera, my last video regarding the Godzilla Save the Earth Melee project and my roster predictions regarding such is rendering. I think it's at like 60% or something like that. I have had a semi-personal video kind of cooking in here for a while now, and I finally managed to take the time to edit and thus appropriately censor the content that will be the focus of this video. I want to say viewer discretion is advised, not because I'm going to be talking about anything that any reasonable person would take offense to, but once I get into it, maybe it'll make sense why I'm a little bit hesitant, but this isn't a spicy video, not by any stretch of the imagination. If anything, it's gonna be wholesome. So, before I get to that, I just wanted to say, if you enjoy, please remember to like, comment, and consider becoming a channel member if that floats your boat. My last couple of recordings, I think I kind of dragged on a little bit too long about all this, so I'm going to keep it even briefer than usual. And normally I would go on a diatribe about visiting the link in the pinned comment and or the description for this video to consider purchasing something from Mount Merch, my merchandise store, but as of the day of recording this, on June 21st, 2025, I gained the ability within YouTube to directly integrate my Spring/Teespring store into my channel, so you can now actually go to the store tab on my YouTube channel to do that, so you don't have to go off-site if you don't want to. Okay, so what do I want to talk about today? In today's video, I wish to discuss a personal series of events that transpired back at the previous house that I was living at, that I was renting and living in. And the story is going to involve frequent uses of the word autism. I am not using the word autism in this context in the slang or comedic intentioned sense. If I say autism here in this video, I mean actual autism. So, after I got laid off last year, things were in kind of dire straits, but as I have said in the past, I am Roman Catholic, born and raised, and so I have tried to help others even when I am struggling, and anyone who watched any of the videos that I put out during my stint of unemployment last year knows that I was indeed truly mentally suffering during that time. So what does this have to do with autism? Well, my girlfriend was friends in high school with someone who kind of got roped into the wrong kind of thing, and they very much seem like they are trying to get their life straightened out. And I will not go into the specifics for their own sake, but this person is the parent of a daughter, and for what reason I do not know, but this daughter was diagnosed as autistic to such a degree where she is non-verbal. And my girlfriend and myself let this person leave their daughter with us for a brief stint of time while the parent in question sorted their own life out. And I will not lie, as a person who has not dealt with non-verbal autistic children before in his life, it was a very mind-opening and educational experience for me. To kind of lighten the mood, one of the things that I learned was which characters and which scenes I did and did not like in the original Mary Poppins film. Because this child could not fall asleep every night unless we had Mary Poppins playing on the DVD player on the TV in the master bedroom where my girlfriend and I, as well as the visiting child, stayed. It is no exaggeration to say that I wanted to beat Uncle Albert from Mary Poppins with my bare hands to a bloody pulp by the time the child's brief stay with us ended.
I love to laugh loud and long and clear.
And I had never seen Mary Poppins before in my life prior to that span of time, so I also will never get Dick Van Dyke saying,
The constable is responsible. Now how does that sound?
out of my head. Anyway, there was a very interesting experience that I and my girlfriend had while this child was staying with us. And if you are at all curious, why do you have a meme of Anguirus wearing a "please be patient, I have autism" hat in this video about this rather serious topic? And why on earth is a channel with the username Godzilla Brawler talking about such a heavy topic to begin with? Well, I'm glad you asked. In my home office in the old house that I rented during that span of time in calendar year 2024 was decorated with all of my various Godzilla figurines and action figures, and you could see them in the background in a lot of those old videos. And this girl walked into my office one day because I think I had the door open for whatever reason. No, it was because my girlfriend opened the door and came in to talk to me about something. And the little girl walked in, and for some reason, which I never discerned, she gravitated heavily towards my figures of Gigan. Now, for even more context, she was less than 4 years old at the time when this happened. I don't know how old she is exactly now or even then. All I do know is that, according to the parent that I mentioned before, she found great amusement in, I think, horror games. Not like super bloody or gory things, but like jump scares. I'm imagining it was something like or something, but her reaction was laughter and, you know, little girl giggling rather than fear. So I guess under that lens, maybe her finding the buzzsaw chicken from Godzilla interesting is not super duper surprising. You can't see or hear it, but Remy is on the couch while I'm recording and she is snoring. This is totally unrelated to the story, but I never thought I would love a dog like this so much. She sleeps with my girlfriend and I in the bed in the master bedroom every night. She's getting to be a little bit of an old lady, as my girlfriend calls her, but I love this dog. Anyway, so she gravitated to the Showa 1972 Gigan X Plus figure statue model, and I can hear you say, well, it's big, standing at a foot tall, and it's brightly colored, yellow, green, and red. That's not surprising. Well, this isn't the only image that I want to show. She also gravitated towards my X Plus figure of the Godzilla Final Wars / 2004 / Millennium Series Gigan. And no, she did not hurt herself. Both my girlfriend and I were keeping a very close eye on her while she was handling the action figures. She was so young, she pretty much just picked the figures up and held them there and then put them back down almost immediately after picking them up. The reason I'm doing this video is just because I had no idea, and I would never have guessed that Gigan, of all monsters, was the one that a nonverbal autistic female child would have gravitated toward. And it's not like there was a limited range of choices. I had quite a lot of figures in my office, as this image demonstrates. And you could probably tell what time of year this was because I had the Christmas Manger scene up on the action figure table in my office. So it must have been around that time of year. No, it wasn't. I think we bought it in preparation for the holiday / Christmas season, but it was easier just to put it in my office instead of hocking it up in the storage room attic. But I had multiple smaller Bandai action figures of Godzilla and whatnot kind of just laying around, and for some reason she gravitated towards Gigan. I can't really understand or explain why. Oh, there is this picture. I did on a whim purchase a Bandai, I think, figure of the Godzilla Final Wars edition of Hedra, and she did grab that at some point. You can't see it here, but she grabbed Final Wars Hedra and my statue of the Eastern Orthodox Christian iteration of Saint Raphael. I've talked about in the past how I have multiple sclerosis, and at least in Catholicism and I think also in Eastern Orthodox Christianity, the angel Raphael is considered a patron saint for travelers Slumbers, and my multiple sclerosis affects my ability to drive, as I believe I have described in the past. So I have a figurine of Saint Raphael, in addition to a Saint Christopher pendant, which is hanging up in my car next to a little Spider-Man toy that I got at like For Your Entertainment at some point in the past. But yeah, as you can see, Gigan was particularly interesting to her. Naturally, I was worried because I was like, I don't want this girl to poke her eye out, but she never handled any of the action figures or figurines in my office hazardously or dangerously, so I just kind of let her do her thing. Obviously, since she was non-verbal, she didn't ask any questions and she didn't talk beyond the kind of noises she regularly made. But it was an experience as a Godzilla fan that I did not expect to have, because I do not have any children of my own yet. So it was just enlightening. It was very interesting to see what a child such as herself was drawn to / interested in. Although it is worth noting, she was also interested in a like $4 or $5 figure of Cyclops, Scott Summers from Marvel's X-Men, that I got on a whim from the clearance section at Walmart one week, because my girlfriend has like a natural inclination to just go directly to the clearance aisle. And I believe X-Men 97 had come out recently, and I guess those figures didn't sell very well, so I got the Cyclops figure, and this girl found Cyclops interesting. Actually, you know what, now that I think about that, both Cyclops and Gigan have single eyes. Cyclops, duh, the name.
Coincidence? I think not!
I hadn't noticed that until now. And you can see her kind of holding the figure of Saint Raphael that I mentioned a second ago. Although, she had the common courtesy, I'm joking, not to show that I had accidentally broken off one of Saint Raphael's arms. That figure is singular in arm. Also, this has nothing to do with anything, but random Catholic / Christian theological fact that you may not know: angels do not have physical bodies. They can manipulate matter such that they appear to have physical bodies, but they do not have bodies like is shown in such as the Lucifer Netflix series, which I have watched and I have covered in a video or two here or there. I'll probably flash a card up. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Remy is currently dreaming. She growls and makes random noises in her sleep. You can probably see her twitching and moving a little bit as I talk. Anyway, that's just a little cutesy video. I just wanted to talk about that and kind of obscure much of the personal information involved in that, because I just thought the Godzilla fan in me wanted to talk about that because it was rather interesting. So, you know, hope you guys stuck around this long. As I said in a previous recording, I'm trying to just churn out content during the time that I have off, and tonight I'm not going to be home because I'm going to my 10-year high school reunion later tonight, and so I have limited time because I want to take a shower and refresh myself before I go up to that. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you're taking it easy despite the heavy subject matter, and I will catch you on the flip side. Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from, Cotton Eye Joe?